Hi, and welcome to today's episode of Lovingly Guided. I am your host, Nikki Lee. So, before we get started today, we are going to go ahead, do quick grounding work. So, as always, if you are driving, please do not do this, but get yourself in a comfortable seated position. Either close your eyes if you are comfortable or gently gaze to the ground, whatever you prefer. And just start by taking in some deep, deep inhales and some audible exhales. And we just want to imagine that there is a light coming down, and this light can be either white, gold, purple, whichever color speaks to you. And every time that we breathe in, just imagine breathing in all of that light and love and just filling yourself full. And we just want to breathe this in until we become that light and love, to the point where we feel like we are bursting and it is coming out from our fingertips to our toes. And while we're here in this space, let's just take a moment and really just go through and just say thank you to ourselves, and just say thank you and be grateful to whatever comes to mind for you in this moment. And when you feel ready, just move your fingers and your toes and come on back. So, today's episode, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, I'm actually kind of going a little bit off of last week's as well. And so last week, through the conversation that I was having with Ryan, she had brought up a question for me, and it was asking, why are you truly wanting to hike this Appalachian Trail? And so, as I said, I ended up doing some journaling and really deep questioning, like what, brought it up forever ago, why this has been something I want to do, and why am I currently wanting to do it now, and all those aspects. So, to start off, I did not know this. I always said that the idea came to me in high school, but I didn't realize that my mom actually, she brought it up and started talking about it sometime around like when I was in middle school. She bought books on it. It was something she wanted to do, so she was doing the research. And then somewhere around in high school, I ventured and I said, this is something I really want to do. And I remember at the time, my dad was even like, I don't think you can do this. I had a friend who was a Marine and he couldn't even finish this whole trail. It's difficult, it's hard. There's a ton of people who try and just fail. And I remember back then, I really, really wanted to do this, more though to prove everyone else that they were wrong, to prove that I could, and just kind of like, you're telling me no, let me show you, right? And also that other piece is she also quite hit it. Is it nail on the coffin, nail on the head? One of those things. That I did want to do it more to prove to them and actually get that validation, and I wanted to make them proud. And then throughout this, now currently, it then evolved into me wanting to do it not for others, but then actually me wanting to do this because I felt like when I had really started to say, like, I wanna do this and everything, it was actually more of me wanting to do this for myself, but to prove to myself that I could. And because at the time when I had thought about this, I still didn't fully trust myself. And I have these huge dreams, these huge goals of mine, but there was still that piece. And this kind of even goes back to the trust podcast episode as well. And I still hadn't had that trusting in myself yet. And I was more using it to be like, look, if you do this, you right, like you can then trust yourself. You then have the confidence. And I was using it as that walkway of like proving to myself, showing myself that my mental state was there and I could mentally overcome things and whatnot. And especially because I had for so long, I had allowed depression, anxiety, and other people to take my power away. And when you allow others to take that power away from you, you then later, at least for me, I then felt like I needed to get that power back, but I needed to prove to myself that I could take that power back. And that no matter what happens, that I can do these no matter how tough something is. And so as and then it's grown a little bit from there too. So now moving forward, I actually okay, this is kind of slightly embarrassing. And I can even in this video see my cheek starting to like turn pink. So I may or may not had an extreme realistic dream that where I thought I was pregnant and I didn't know who the father was. Of course, it took me a little bit upon waking to realize that that couldn't happen because you kind of need to do something in order, to get pregnant. And so anyway, I had this dream, woke up thinking I was, and the first thought process that went through my brain in this moment of me thinking I was pregnant was, it's fine. I can raise this child by myself. I will figure it out. That's not a big deal. But my only fear, or my only, like, I guess, semi, like, oh no, now what am I going to do moment was, but now I will never get to hike the Appalachian Trail. And that was the one piece that, for whatever reason, I was like, I got the rest of this. We can figure this out, but man, I can't do the Appalachian Trail. And that was like the only part where I was like, And then when I finally was like, wait, I'm not all good. But in that moment, I was like, oh no, this is actually something I truly do really want. If that's my biggest like oh no moment, I guess you can say. And so then this past year I've started with the planning process and actually made it and said I will be doing this in March. Now everything's set up. But now moving forward to the next piece of it and the breakdown, I then as I'm like thinking the process and going through it, I was like, it'd be really neat. It would be so cool if I could also, I'm already doing this. Why not try to help a nonprofit and raise the money? And I was like, a nonprofit, something to do with conservation, because I thought, I'm hiking, I'm in the woods, like what better way to raise money for like a nonprofit conservation organization, right? That deals in that. And I didn't know how that would look, how I would do that. And then I just remember speaking to my uncle but it was more about more about just like some of these big dreams, as I said, I have, and one of them being I want to become so ridiculously rich that whenever I want to buy land, I can buy land and just protect trees. That's all I want to do. Then he brought up a nonprofit that one of my cousin's best friends works for in Indiana, and it was exactly that. that's what they do, and they are helping bring back the natural ecosystem to Indiana. They help preserve land, and, um, I was just like, "Oh, like, they are literally everything I was thinking about, and they would be a great nonprofit organization." And I decided too at the time, I was like, "Oh, and I actually know people who work there. I know like, any money that's raised for this, that money, I know where that money will go to, right? And to actually know that it's going to be used for the purposes that I'd hope they would be used for." And so got that ball rolling. That's all now set up, which is really exciting. And along my hike and everything else, um, that I will put the links here and whatnot, but it is on their website now that there is a donation page. And so that's also, I worked with the nonprofit for this to where we could actually set it up so I had my own, like, little link off of their website, and then people could go to that link and donate right there, and then even as the person donating knows that the money is going straight into their hands, and it doesn't have to go in between anywhere else. And so, all of this started to fall together really great, and but then I kind of sat as I was journaling, and I was like, "Oh, I think I had wanted so badly too to not only, I mean, obviously, yes, I wanted to do good, I wanted to help a nonprofit raise money, find a way to help, protecting it and the environment, which is something that is really, like, in my heart, something that I'm, obsessed with, like, just so passionate about. And but then as I got a little bit deeper, so all of the good, but I forced myself to go deeper on that one too. I'm like, "But why did, like, is there another underlying issue of why did you wanna also do this?" And I realized not only, yes, I wanted, right, to help nonprofit raise money, but I realized, and this is, like, hard for me to even admit now, is I wanted to also make sure I had something in place and give myself a bigger why am I actually truly doing this trail? And with having that piece right there, right, like, now it's not just about me doing it, now I'm doing it for something else, a bigger reason. And I realized I set myself up, so in those moments when maybe it hurts, my feet have blisters, I've already walked, right, over 1,000 miles, I have 1,000 left to go, I'm at that halfway point, just miserable, the weather's been pouring, and in those true moments of where how easy it would be to fully, like, give up, I made it so I couldn't in a way. I mean, yes, I still could, but it makes it harder when you have something set up and that why is so much bigger than you, of, like, in order to get to yourself to finish. So I, like, without realizing it, I actually put this bigger thing in front of me in order to help me make sure I reach my goal. Um, so yeah, I thought I would kind of share a little bit about, and actually, you know, sh- and also show you that I still do the journaling even when people ask me things and I might not want to go deep or be on, like, sometimes I don't want to be honest with myself. I still do, and I still unravel things, and I'm still learning. Um, So yeah, I just thought that would be a great thing to share and to show you that do the journaling, I do the prompts, and I'm always, like, willing to take advice from other people as well, if it helps me grow and learn and just to even better understand myself. And for something like this that started so long ago, it was really interesting to see that journaling process, but to see where it started, the reasons behind why it started, and then how it's grown into, like, why I wanna do it now. So, but as always, I hope that you have a beautiful day, and I love you.